You know that moment that you bring a guest onto your podcast and there's like this instant connection? You realize that this is going to be more than a one-time chat, whether it's a friendship or a bond, or you want to collaborate and create something together and go out and co-create, or they're just so interesting. You're like, I need this person in my life, even if it's just to say hello every once in a while. Today, I want to tell you about how you can transform those guest interviews into lasting collaborations, because I had this one guest who ended up becoming a cornerstone in my network, in my business, in my life, and here's how it happened. Welcome to Beyond the Downloads, the show that dives deeper than stats and charts to reveal the real impact of your podcast. I'm Jennifer Dragonette, founder of the Bold Action Collective, where we believe that bold moves truly spark transformation. Each week, we explore how your unique story, passion, and purpose can create powerful connections that will change lives, yours and those of your listeners. If you're ready to go beyond the metrics, embrace bold action, and unleash the life raft potential of your podcast, you're in the right space. Let's go. So one of my favorite collaborations, and now I'm not saying that they're not all my favorite, but this one just changed my life, started just like that. I invited Erin onto my show and we just clicked. I had seen her on someone else's podcast and kind of bouncing around in some of the Facebook communities that I was in. And I'm like, I have to talk to this person. So we got on, we had the interview, we did all the things. I created all the graphics. I put it out there. I shared, but I couldn't stop there. So I kept in touch. I started sharing ideas, and pretty soon we were working on projects together. We had become friends, and it all started with that single conversation, something that I wouldn't have necessarily ever reached out to her for, as her business wasn't aligned with what my needs were. But because we talked, it ended up being that kind of connection. So how this all started was I was really interested, and she was part of my original show, Feed Your Business with Love. And I was so excited. She's actually been on the show, and I will actually tag her in it because she did some amazing activations for us. So if you kind of need to get back in your body, it's great. I'll link it in the show notes for you. But what happened was I was kind of floundering, and her work spoke to me. And I'm like, how can I bring her on to Feed Your Business with Love? Well, lo and behold, when I brought her on to Feed Your Business with Love, she was somebody who actually was really good at the back end of business. And we just started having connections. We became almost instant online friends. And we went back and forth, how we were building, what we were seeing in each other's businesses. And it really became this like mutual collaboration. And at a certain point when my business was booming, which I'm not saying that it's not booming right now, I just grew too big for my britches. So I had to hire. So who did I hire when I needed support? Erin. So she became my go-to person for graphics and a lot of the back-end stuff that was in my production business and in my own business. She actually is the one that created this Beyond the Downloads cover page. She rebranded my whole website for me. Like, she is absolutely amazing because that was one of her gifts that she hadn't had outwardly showing. She's also amazing when it comes to Akashic Records, transforming your body, clearing all those energetic ties and all the things. That's what her true gift was. But in the time, we both had a need, and I was able to hire her to do this. She's still my go-to collaborator when it comes to building my business, finding new things that I want to talk about, really aligning myself and nailing in my mind, because I can be so scattered. I want to be here. I want to be there. I want to be all these places. But if I wouldn't have reached out and had her for that one-time conversation on the interview, none of that would have happened. If I would have just had the interview and not done the follow-up, not allowed it to be a long-term collaboration, and I was just like, here's the interview, here's your stuff, bye and bye, like, I would not have had that opportunity. And I think that's where so many podcasters go wrong, including myself, is my original show was all interviews. I think it's like 222 interviews with amazing humans. Some of them I kept in touch with. Should I have kept in touch with more? Yeah. because that's where the magic happened. Yes, in those moments, it helped me. Every time someone came on my podcast, there was a little spark that was like, oh, I needed to hear that today. But I could have had more of those sparks if I would have gotten the DMs or sent them an email or got their phone number and followed up and created this relationship like I did with Aaron. It became this beautiful collaboration, and I'm looking forward to more and more coming up. And Aaron's not the only person that this has happened to. I have so many people that I have met through my podcast that I have gone on adventures with. I met Lakshmi Day on my first podcast and ended up in Costa Rica, where I decided, hey, no more living in an abusive marriage, time to get out. And her retreat in Costa Rica helped me with that. Then she helped me after when I got home. I've met so many people. I could go on and tell you hundreds of stories about this, about the people that I've stayed in contact with long after that interview went out, long after I promoted that interview, long after it was said and done, long after I closed down the podcasts. And that's what so many people are missing, is that you really can turn these guests into long-term collaborations. You really can become top of mind for when you've created these connections, again, with another human, that if somebody is like, hey, do you know somebody who can help me with my podcast? I'm going to be top of mind because I've created this long-term friendship, this long-term collaboration, this longer-term friendship with the person that came on. Yes, not every guest is going to be that person that you long-term collaborate with. There's other ways that you can use guesting to grow your show, to get questions answered, to support your audience. But if you're really not looking at the numbers and you're looking to build a community, sometimes we want to shift this focus to, hey, how can I use my podcast by not focusing on the numbers, but to get what I need? And building community is one of those things. If you got 5 listeners, only 5 listeners the whole time, but you had a constant flow of guests that came on that built your network, built your community, and filled your programs, would you be okay with that? Because you became top of mind because you created that connection with that guest. Would you be okay with only having 5 downloads per episode? If those 5 downloads and those guests that kept coming on were filling your emotional, your connection, your network, your programs, would you be okay with that? This is where you've got to start looking at things. The Feed Your Business with Love, yeah, it was number 52 in the top self-love podcast in the world, but there wasn't a ton of downloads. But it built my business to consecutive $9,000 months in my production business because of these long-term collaborations that I created. You've got to start thinking about different ways other than just downloads, because those collaborations made it so that I didn't have to be a slave to social media and my business was still booming. My production company was up at 9K months. I was getting coaching clients, and I still do. I'm in the process of shifting my messaging and my marketing a little bit. So I'm not as heavy into my production business right now. I'm a little bit heavier into coaching and things like that. But really, I want you to start thinking about this. How can you use your guests, current, future, or past, to actually start creating these collaborations? And if you're stuck with these, this is why I created that CPR audit, because I know none of us need another course and another this and another that. It's 2 hours with me, and we really dig into the CPR, the clarity, the purpose, and the revenue, and we align these strategies, these long-term collaborative strategies, how to leverage your past guests, how to create the actual friendships, and then you get access to me for 30 days, and then we actually do a follow-up call. And it's so cheap. My coach gets mad at me for it, but I love it. I love it because this is what we really need. We need that person-to-person connection. We don't need another damn course, period, end of story. So that's in the show notes if you want it. But I want to make sure that you walk away, whether you grab the audit or not, I want you to walk away with the steps. So when you're starting to book these interviews and having people on your show, I hope you're using Podmatch. There's a code so you can check it out for free. If you use the Podmatch code that's at the bottom, yes, it's an affiliate, but I always give back. So if you use my code, I will give you a free 30 minutes with me, one-on-one. Just reach out and tell me you signed up through my link. But anyways, here's your steps. Number 1, I want you to focus on the relationship first. Got it? Relationship first, people first, friendship first, all the things, people. Got it? Really spend time before the recording, getting to know your guest. Ask about goals. What are you passionate about? There's ways that you have other parts of your life that are like side by side and doing all the things and synergistics and all the stuff. Treat each guest as a future collaborator from the start. They're not just a one-off interviewee. Well, they could be. If you want to have a special, like, big time guest that you want to have for an hour and ask some specific questions because it's like free coaching, maybe it is a one-time thing. But I really want you to start thinking about this of like relationship building, community building, collaboration building, network building. Number 2, stay engaged after the episode. After you wrap up, send a follow-up email thanking them. Share the episode, tag them when it goes live, all the things. But then the magic is keeping that dialogue open. Invite them for other opportunities, check in on their projects, check in on new things, just say hello, maybe stalk their social media for a minute and you're like, oh, I just saw you got a new dog. Congratulations on your new puppy, blah, 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 blah. Like, how is it going? All the things. Like, whatever it is, keep going and nurture that initial spark and turn it into a real connection over time, because I guarantee you will become top of mind. And when somebody needs the service that you offer, they will refer you over. And that goes to number 3. I want you to leverage that connection for mutual growth. Got that? Mutual energy attracts energy. This should be a two-way street. Look at ways that you can support each other. Maybe there's a project you can co-create, an event that you can both speak at. Maybe there's just you can help them market something and they can help you market something, whatever it is, or a piece of content you can collaborate on. There's so many ways that you can create this collaboration and this nurturing friendship or acquaintanceship, if you don't want to call it a friendship because you don't know them super well, but you can build that value, that relationship, and find some way to support each other. I know there's people that come out with books and I'll drop it in my email newsletter or I'll put it online. Or when some of my past guests have new programs, I'll share it to my stories. Like, there's ways that you can help with each other that aren't going to cost you anything. Because when your guest feels value and sees that you're actually invested in a win-win relationship, you're naturally going to stay connected. And that's where they're going to refer to you. That's where you become top of mind. That's where you become their go-to person. And this is how you turn that single episode into a long-term partnership that benefits both of you. And I'm not just saying that. I'm living proof of that. You can look through my socials. You can look through how hard I've hustled. Yes, I get myself busy in the burnout and the busy work, and it's mostly in creation more than actually promoting, but that's the truth. If you're ready to get even more strategic, that's where something like my CPR audit can come in. But for now, I want you to just start with these tips and see how focusing on the real relationships can transform your business, your podcast, and your life. Who knows? It might be your next inner circle, and then you get to go on that girlfriend's weekend or that besties weekend that you've been dreaming about and you've been seeing all over Instagram, but you just don't have enough people to go do it. This might be your way to create it. And I really want you to start thinking about it. People first. People first. Connection first. Got it? So your 3 tips: focus on relationship first. Number 2, stay engaged after the episode. And number 3, leverage that connection for mutual growth. Because when you have a win-win relationship where both people are putting in the energy, that's where both of you get to grow. Got it? Anyways, so go out and make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you're worthy, and your story deserves a microphone. Now go out and do the thing.